What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. Let's dive into Bound for Glory from October the 26th, 2024, TNA's version of WrestleMania. This was an okay show, but I expected a lot better from TNA. I really did. We'll talk about it when we get to the main events, the triple main events that we had. We'll talk about it there. So, I did watch the pre-show. We'll talk about that briefly, and then we'll get into the main card. So, we kicked the pre-show off with Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance. They defeated Brinley Reese from NXT and Xia Brookside, formerly from NXT as well. I believe she was in NXT UK, I think. But they won, so that was fine. And, why wouldn't they? So I'm guessing they're probably going to push Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance as a tag team and having them go after Spitfire. I think that could be pretty fun. So we get into the Hall of Fame stuff. So we get a really good Hall of Fame video talking about the career of the late Bob Ryder, who recently passed away, I believe a couple of weeks ago. It's been a couple of weeks now. So, Bob Ryder was a longtime backstage worker in TNA, and he had a bunch to do with building up wrestling on the internet. He worked in both WCW and ECW. So Eric Young, he basically inducted Ryder into the Hall of Fame. So Eric Young basically put over the career of Bob Ryder. He talked about how he worked in both WCW and ECW. He was a pioneer in online wrestling discussion. He was also in talent relations and did all kinds of things to make it work for everyone. And then Eric Young mentioned that him and Bob were friends, and they spent most Christmases and Thanksgivings together. And he said that he'll be missed. He said that he's the real king of TNA. So that was great. So really good stuff there. Rest in peace, rest in power, and rest in paradise, Bob Ryder. Thank you. Next, we got the second Hall of Fame video, involving Rhino. So Rhino was basically inducted into the Hall of Fame by Tommy Dreamer. So it highlighted most of his career in ECW and WWE and TNA, which was great. So Rhino's been with TNA for about 20 years, on and off for 20 years. So, Tommy Dreamer put over Rhino. He said that Rhino has found the fountain of youth. He looks the same, works the same, and is the same he's been for 25 years. He's always said it's the year of the lion, but this is the year of the Rhino. So Rhino then comes out. A "You Deserve It" chant breaks out. He said, "We deserve it because we the fans have been here forever." Rhino talks about how much he loves Detroit and he hopes to die there one day. So Rhino then thanks his girlfriend for being there, but he won't be proposing because he doesn't have the hardware which is kind of funny. So Rhino then talks about how much he loves his daughter and how much he wishes he had been there more often. He thanks a bunch of people from Jim Cornette to Paul Heyman to WWE and Heath Slater. Hopefully Heath Slater does come back to TNA. Hopefully he does. He also talked about how his brother was diagnosed with cancer and given a death sentence. So Heath Slater would talk to him during long car rides, and it felt like the cancer went away. And then he also thanks Heath Slater for being a friend and a brother. Rhino then mentions his faith in God. He said that he prays for the family to get home safe every time. His goal is to leave the planet a little better than he found it, and that's what he hopes to do. And then he gives us one more thank you, and that was it. So this was great. This is great. I'm not a fan of Rhino now, but I do respect Rhino. Rhino has been a key figure in TNA and in ECW at the tail end of ECW. And he was pretty good in WWE from, I would say, 2015 to 2016 when he was on SmackDown with Heath Slater. That was cool. When SmackDown back then was the land of opportunity. So this is great. So TNA now has more Hall of Famers added to it. So congrats to Rhino and congrats to the late, great Bob Ryder. Thank you, guys. All right. So this leads us into the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. And this thing was awful. I did not like it. Basically, we had Frankie Kazarian win the thing. It came down to the final two were Rhino and Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian wins via the low blow. I was pissed at this because there was nobody in here that basically was worthwhile. I thought we were going to get Jinder Mahal here, but we didn't. Xia Li was in this thing. She goes by Li Ling Li. So she was there. That was fine. But, it is what it is. Who cares? Moving on to the main show. So, Iona, she sings the national anthem. Really good stuff there. We get a really good video package that hypes up Detroit and talks about how important it is to wrestling history. And then they talk about the triple main event, and we're on our way. So, first match of the night. Mike Bailey defeats Vikingo. I believe he's with AEW still. I'm not sure. I have to look into it. It's been a while since we've seen Vikingo, but I would assume that he's still with AEW. So Mike Bailey gets the win here. They did mention that he lost to him previous, that being Mike Bailey, to Vikingo back in GCW, I believe sometime last year, or maybe it may have been January of this year. I can't remember what Tom Hannafin said on commentary. But this was your typical spot fest match and everything, kick flips and dives. Mike Bailey gets the win via the Fisherman Suplex, which is Meteor Rain for the 1, 2, 3, which is kind of weird to me. That's kind of an odd finish, but it is what it is. That's fine. Moving on, Spitfire, they defeat Wendy Chu and Rosemary to retain their Knockouts Tag Team Championships. This makes sense. For whatever reason, Wendy Chu had her black pillow with her with spider webs on it. So I don't know. For whatever reason in the match, Jody Threat suplexed. She did a German suplex to the pillow for whatever reason. I have no idea. That was so damn dumb, but I don't know. And Jody Threat, when she wrestles, she screams like a damn banshee. I hate that shit. Stop it. I hate that shit. It's so boring and annoying. I don't like it. I wish she would stop. So I'm guessing this will probably lead us to Spitfire taking on Ash and Heather by Elegance later on down the line, maybe at a turning point. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on, so Frankie Kazarian, he's reading Earl Hebner's book, and he promises to raise the hand of the world champion at the end of the night. Okay, who cares? Fuck Frankie Kazarian. Moving on, Steve Maclin versus Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander gets the win via the ankle lock. So in the middle of the match, basically, Josh Alexander was able to distract the referee. No, my bad. There was a ref bump, and he brought in the zip tie. He tied up Steve Maclin. Maclin was able to hit a couple of Busaiku knees. He was able to hit his spear in the corner, So, Josh Alexander made Steve Maclin pass out via the ankle lock, which is fine. This makes sense. I don't think that the feud is over with. I think that this is going to continue. I believe that Steve Maclin is going to be the one who sends Josh Alexander to go to Maple Leaf. I think their feud is going to continue some more. I've said for a while that I don't see Josh Alexander going to WWE or AEW. I just don't. He's injury prone and he's old. I'm not trying to, be derogatory when I say that either. I'm just being real. Josh Alexander is in his late 30s, maybe early 40s at best. I don't think Shawn Michaels and Triple H are going to push Josh Alexander. And the same thing goes with Tony Khan. Josh Alexander's best bet is just to go to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and you know how much Scott D'Amore loves him. So, yeah. Moving on. I wanted to slice my laptop in half with a samurai sword because we got PCO versus Matt Cardona. Fuck this. PCO retains via the PCO assault in the Monsters Ball match. Who cares? We've seen 10 million of those matches. Who cares? I don't give a fuck about PCO or Matt Cardona. I just don't. Moving on. Mike Santana defeats Moose. So he wins via spin the block, and he's able to take out JDC, or a.k.a. Fandango. Okay, that's fine. What do we do with Mike Santana going forward? I have no idea. Maybe you have Santana go after Mike Bailey. I just don't see him becoming TNA World Champion right now. Not at this point in time. It's just, I don't know. But I'm glad that Santana basically was able to beat down the system and make the system become obsolete. So this is fine. I'm a fan of Mike Santana. Great guy. So, yeah. This leads us into the triple threat. My bad. The triple main event, my bad. Which, to me, was odd. I don't know why TNA went with that. You can have a double main event, but when you talk about a triple main event, to me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Jordynne Grace versus Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts Championship. Masha Slamovich gets the win, so she hit an avalanche snowplow from the top rope. I thought that was the finish. It was not. She transitioned that into a package pile driver for the 1-2-3. To me, that was a little bit too much. Jordynne Grace kicked out of the snowplow earlier on. And this match was good. I enjoyed it. The two embraced after the match was over. And this is when I started to get kind of upset with TNA because I thought that maybe Mandy Rose was going to come out, or we were going to get Lacey Evans to show up, or somebody of that ilk to show up. It didn't happen. This is the problem that I have with TNA, and I don't understand why TNA refuses to not bring in, Mandy Rose or Lacey Evans or what have you. They have to begin to replace Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace is on her way out. She's on her way out. And I do believe that they'll probably work a storyline with her putting her career on the line. If she loses, let's say she loses at Genesis, which is in January, that's going to be their next major pay-per-view of 2025. Their first major pay-per-view of the new year. Let's say she puts her career on the line, she loses, and then she shows up in the Royal Rumble in February. So I believe that's what's going to happen. But who's Masha going to work with? I mean, I like Xia Li. She's great. She's good. But she just got there. And really and truthfully, we haven't seen Xia Li but once. And that was when she made her debut. I believe that was 3 weeks ago. So I don't know what TNA is doing, but they've got to begin to bring in new knockouts. Like, this division needs it. Because when they lose Jordynne Grace, that's going to hurt big time. So I don't know. Moving on. This led us into our second main event of the evening, our co-main event, which really should have been the actual main event itself. Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth, with the special guest referee, Frankie Kazarian. Nick Nemeth wins. So Frankie Kazarian tried to get involved early on, midway through the match. He was about to use the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Trophy, but Joe Hendry shuts him down from that. So towards the end of the match, there was a ref bump. JBL came out. He gave a clothesline from hell to Frankie Kazarian as well as Joe Hendry. So JBL's now a heel. And then he also takes out Ryan Nemeth, the brother of Nick Nemeth. And so Nick Nemeth comes to his feet. He's able to hit a danger zone. Joe Hendry kicked out at 2. And he hit the super kick into the danger zone for a second time for the 1, 2, 3. And Nick Nemeth retains. The Detroit crowd, they said fuck you to the Nick Nemeth. Like, he was the heel in this for whatever reason. I don't know why that was. I don't know. That was weird. Because I was like, what the hell? Because, like, these are two baby faces. Maybe it's like a college rivalry or something like that. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Detroit hates Ohio for whatever reason. I'm guessing it's like a college thing, I guess. Like a college football or basketball type of thing. I don't know. But they were saying fuck Ohio in this match. They said fuck Nick Nemeth. But when Joe Hendry lost, man, that whole arena became silent. That whole arena, we all let out a massive groan. Well, not me, because I wasn't there, physically, but spiritually I was with those guys, and I was like, oh my God, no. So this leads us to more, this leads us into more questions than answers, which is not good. I don't know what TNA was doing with this, and now I see why they ended up doing the main event the way they did. But what do you do with Joe Hendry? What do you do with Joe Hendry? Joe Hendry's been in TNA for 2 years, 2+ years, and he's not done anything. He's been a mid-card guy, a mid-card act, and it's not good. I just don't get it. I don't get it. What do you do with Joe Hendry going forward? Is it the fact that he's probably going to go to WWE sometime next year or what? But this was the moment where he should have won. He should have. Because that crowd, he had them eating out of the palm of his hand. The crowd loved Joe Hendry. They loved him. And when he lost, man, that energy from the crowd just immediately vanished, and it evaporated into thin air. This is not a good decision by TNA. This is not a good decision. They really fucked over Joe Hendry. They fucked this man over big time. I just don't get it. I don't get what this means. I don't get why Joe Hendry didn't win here. I get that would have made Nick Nemeth a transitional champion, but that doesn't matter. You give this to Joe Hendry. I don't know. I don't know what we do going forward with Joe Hendry. I have no idea. At this point, WWE might as well go ahead and buy out his TNA contract. Just go ahead and buy it out. There's no point in Joe Hendry being in TNA anymore, in my opinion. Like, this makes zero sense. But I don't know. Like, it's very, very weird to me. Again, this is their version of WrestleMania. And they dropped the ball here. That would be like for Cody at WrestleMania 40 to not beat Roman. And Cody never would have finished his story. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Moving on. So, TNA Genesis is back. It's going to be on Sunday, January 19th, 2025, which is cool. It's kind of weird that TNA is going to do a Sunday pay-per-view, but I think New Japan might be doing something the previous night, so maybe that's why they had to move it to Sunday. I don't know, but yeah. Main event of the evening: the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy versus ABC, Chris Bay and Ace Austin versus The System. Full Metal Mayhem reimagined, which it really wasn't reimagined. It was just Jeff Hardy just going crazy. Designs from Jeff Hardy, from like different ladders, chairs, and everything else, tables. That's fine. The Hardys win. We all saw it coming. It's just a basic spot fest. So Matt and Jeff, they win. The match went a little bit too long for my liking. It's fine. And the Hardys celebrate in the crowd with the titles, and that was it. So, Bound for Glory, overall, for me, could have been better. I felt like TNA didn't really try with this one. They didn't. The Joe Hendry losing, that took me out of it. No one debuting to show up for Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich, that was a letdown too. Again, I get they didn't advertise surprises and stuff, but we needed surprise debuts here. We didn't get anything at Slammiversary. And I was thinking, 3 months later at Bound for Glory, we were going to get some more surprises, but we didn't. And I don't know. And the Hardys winning, that was predictable. Like, everybody, predicted that. Everybody saw that coming 1,000 miles away. Like, that wasn't hard to predict. Like, we knew that the Hardys were going to win anyway. We already knew that. And the Hardys are going to go to WWE, I believe it's in January or February. So I could see them, because the Hardys already said that they're going to stay with TNA until the end of the year. They may do a couple more tapings during January of next year. But after that, they're done. They're definitely WWE bound. So Bound for Glory was okay, but it could have been better. It could have been better. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.